So we're about a month out from the Big Bear Highlander event, and I figured now's a good time to make some hiking-specific content. Today I'm going to go over the 5 poses that I use at the trailhead whenever I go hiking. Those 5 poses include a forward fold, a downward facing dog, a runner's lunge that I also like to morph into a crescent lunge, a warrior 2, followed by a triangle pose. So I'm going to go over a quick flow today, and hopefully this is something that you can utilize when hiking over the next month. And then also something, it's a good quick thing to do every morning when you get up and before you get ready and hit the trail. All right. So let's start with a forward fold. The sun's starting to set, so reach my hands overhead, working my breath, and forward fold. It may be necessary to keep your knees bent, so all the way, which is fine, as long as you're focusing on keeping your core strong and your back straight. So bend those knees as much as you need to, so that you feel in the back of your hamstrings. And if you're feeling it in your back, then it might help to do a half lift instead, where you lift up and you have your hands on your shins to help support your body. You look at the ground and then slowly work into that forward fold. But you should never be feeling tension or pain in your back. A couple breaths. And from here, we can go ahead and morph this into a downward facing dog. I am actually just getting over some Achilles tendonitis, so these ankle stretches really help prepare me. And much like a forward fold, you feel in your back, bend your knees, and tighten your core. Point is to have a straight back, as straight as line possible from your hands up to your hips. So from here, there's a couple different ways to get into runner's lunge. I like to go into a 3-legged dog by lifting a leg, which you don't have to, and then bringing it forward in between my hands, like that. And a runner's lunge is a straight line from your head down to your back heel. You're holding yourself up like this. If it helps, you can also support yourself on your leg, but your hips are facing forward and your toes are facing forward as well. And if this is challenging enough, then stay right here. Sometimes it helps to just rest on your knee. You can also let your hands hang out their side like this. And then if you have the flexibility, you can also go all the way down to the ground. So it kind of depends on you. If you really want to challenge yourself and work on your balance, then lift up into a full lunge, and then put your hands above your head for a crescent lunge. Couple breaths here. You can hold this as long as you find necessary. If I'm doing a hike early in the morning, a sunrise hike, then I always take a lot longer. From here, we can transition into a warrior 2. You're going to turn your hips out to the side, and you're going to turn your back foot to a 45-degree angle, and that front knee goes over your toes, over your foot. Raise your hands like this. You're really going to feel this one in the groin. And if done properly, it can also help improve your posture. Because I always struggle with my posture when I'm hiking because I spend so much time looking down at the ground, worrying about where I'm stepping. So in these standing poses where I'm not worried about having to look down, try to make a conscious decision to keep my head up and stand straight. So warrior 2, we go into a pyramid pose. It's a really nice hip opener. So you simultaneously reach with one hand while pushing the back hip back like that, and reach down. Because you don't have any blocks, using your shin for support is a good idea. If you have the core strength, you can just let it hang, but the full pose is a nice twist to open the chest and look upward. Some nice deep breaths. And then to come out of that, you go back into Warrior 2. All right, we're gonna do the whole thing over again, but on the other side. So we're gonna get in another forward fold as well as another downward facing dog. So raise your hands above your head for a nice quick back bend with your chest up and forward. You should feel this in your chest and your shoulders, not your lower back. Inhale, and then exhale with a forward fold. Bring your hands all the way down to your feet. And touch your toes, touch your hands to your toes. And if necessary, like I mentioned before, if you can't touch your toes, feel free to bend your knees to straighten your back and engage your core. And if necessary, do a half lift instead. Because even this, you can feel it in the back of your knees and in your hamstrings. This helps right here. I'm gonna fold all the way down one last time. Touch the ground. And from here, transition into a plank. Then from that plank into a downward facing dog. Oh yeah. And it helps sometimes to bend your knees and push up on your butt to get your belly in, because you want to drive your chest towards your feet and then straighten those legs. And from here, we can either pull the left foot forward or lift it really quick into a three-legged dog and then set it between your hands into a runner's lunge. And then we balance ourselves over our front foot like this. I'm at a park where there's a lot of people. It's Memorial Day weekend, so everyone's out. Right here is the ultimate pose because you're holding it with your core. But you can also do this, more hip mobility. And if you really want to challenge yourself in a lunge, raise your hands above your head and test your balance. From here, we can transition into Warrior 2. We turn that back foot out, 45-degree angle. Put your hands out, look over that front hand, and lower into your front knee. Keep the chest up, head up, a straight line from your tailbone all the way through the top of your head. And then transition into the triangle pose. The back hip goes back and you straighten that forward knee and then go down. You can do a couple options. You don't have blocks, so you can use your shins for support. You can your hand hang if you're able to hold it in your core. And then look up for a nice twist. Open that chest, get some full breaths in. And I'm feeling ready to hit the small trail today and get my miles in. All right. And I think we're done. Whew. So yeah, hopefully you find this helpful. Use this over the next few weeks while you're preparing for Highlander Big Bear. And yeah, I'll see you there. Hopefully every morning we can do a quick stretch together and every night do some nice restorative yin yoga. So the countdown begins. As always, like, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll see you all soon.